Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hello. Well, I'm gonna feed the cats and come back. There's Dave.
We were just clapping here in New York. It's 7 o'clock. We clap and make noise for the healthcare workers every evening.
No, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Hi, Becky.
Hello.
Hi, Becky. Hi, everyone.
Here.
Becky, you need to have your mom on.
There's Tiarn.
I need to have what?
So you need to get your mom. Sylvia's on, and Sylvia's 95. So they can have.
Yeah. She'll be 96 May 20th.
Wow.
I know.
You see her over there?
Hi, Sylvia. This is Guy. How you doing?
Oh, Gee. Hi, Gee.
How are you?
Great. How you
My
guys
mom.
been?
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know. I miss fishing with you. Hey, Miss Dane.
Good to see you.
Hi, Becky.
So
Hi,
this
Gee.
they can see you.
Yeah, okay.
Tom, how was did you go to Jersey this year?
Pardon me?
No, we didn't make it over. I can't remember why we couldn't make it over, but we didn't.
Yeah, I
make
didn't go this year either, so in case I missed you.
That's not the cool.
But we're talking about the fly fishing show in case anybody didn't catch our lingo.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, and we running into you there.
Yeah, that was great.
Alan went to my brother went to the fly fishing show in Jersey. I don't know if that's the same one you're talking about.
The one
Hey,
in
who's that outlaw down in the corner?
What up?
Hey, Kix.
Hey guys and gals, what's up?
It's
Hey.
cooking for me tonight. She's got non-green hands but purple hair. So
Wow. Good hair, Devin. Is that me on your t-shirt?
yeah.
Yeah.
Later. Freaking
Yeah, you did a little
straight.
better tan, but
Devin's gotten so big.
Nice.
Devin, you've gotten so much more mature and big since I saw you in 2014.
Yeah.
Well, no, and then we saw you a couple years ago when we all met in Florida with with the Tabuses.
Oh yeah.
Remember? We met. Then we met you and your dad on the beach afterwards with your dog.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Ruby has the same color you do.
So Dave, you don't have you got a kitchen?
I have a kitchen. I have a kitchen. Yeah.
There you are.
I don't have a videographer tonight, but I got a kitchen.
All right.
Here.
Look at Kai back there showing us all up with his big Argentinian grill.
nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Man,
Yay.
Nice.
I'm cooking out of an extended stay hotel, and Kai has got like a full-on Argentinian wood-burning grill back there. That's great.
Wow. Nice. All right.
All right, you guys ready?
I am.
I'm good.
All right.
Ready?
Okay, so welcome to the inaugural pandemic cooking show hosted by Mission Lodge, coming live to you from Redmond, Oregon. We're gonna do a little salmon. We're gonna do a sockeye salmon with a little pasta that is kind of Mediterranean inspired. But as we go through the recipe, we'll talk about all sorts of different ingredients that you can use in it. We all brought back big boxes of salmon, right? I brought back this sockeye, and this sockeye, I can actually tell you what day it was caught. Kai should know what day it was caught. I can tell you what time it was caught. This was caught on the Wood River on 4th of July. I got up at 4:45 in the morning to put ribs and brisket and pork butt on the grill on the Traeger. And Kai and I took a little break. He was nice enough to take me out. I hope this works. Out onto the Wood River, and we caught a few little sockeyes, and that was probably the best kitchen break I've ever had. So thank Kai for that. First thing we want to do is pull out these little pin bones. This is a super tedious task. You can borrow, the tweezers from the bathroom. Just rinse them off after so they don't smell like, before, so they don't smell like fish. And while I do this, I think there's about 23 bones is what I've been told. So what have people been cooking during the pandemic? Do you have a pandemic go-to dish?
Hey, sorry everyone, I've got you all muted, so there's not a whole lot of background noise. So if you want to talk, please mute yourselves.
Yeah, maybe like one person. What are you cooking? Is there a favorite?
I'm making a lot of tacos and Mexican food, and that's about it.
That's Jen down in Texas, right? Making some tacos?
Yep. Talking, right?
Yeah, very appropriate.
During Lent, we had salmon every Friday.
Very appropriate. Okay, we just about have all these guys out.
As I relayed to Dave earlier, because I thought he could use a little pick-me-up, I had all planned out that I was going to use the crock pot to its most advantage and threw in a 15 bean stew, and it was going to cook all day and it was going to be ready so I didn't have to cook and I could watch this, and come to find out I had it on warm all day long. So now I did a quick chop of whatever I could find with frozen pasta, and Ryan's going to be happy with it. So
Trish called to give me a pep talk before this started, and so we both shared some cornstarch.
yep,
For those that
cornstarch
know.
happy.
I know. Okay, so we want to take the skin off of this. So I typically start from the tail end, and I go down and then just turn my knife out to get kind of my first portion off. And then I'll flip it around. And you just angle the knife down slightly where you can kind of feel it rubbing against the skin. And pop that right off. These sockeyes aren't real big. Depends on your, how much you like it. I usually get about 4 per side.
And for anybody with dogs, save the skin and cook it for the dogs.
I don't have a dog. I have no dog. I have the fox fur and the cow carpet, and that's pretty much what I have at home for animals.
Feed that fox.
Feed that fox. All right, so we got our salmon portions. And then hopefully everybody got their list of ingredients. So here's kind of all of our mise en place. Mise en place is kind of, it's the French term for everything in its place. And I kind of have everything laid out in the order that we're going to use it in the pan. A little bit of shallots, a little bit of capers, some Kalamata olives, roasted red peppers, fresh tomatoes, a little bit of cream, a little bit of wine, some butter, some Parmesan, and a little bit of parsley. So really on a dish like this, most of the time that it takes to cook it is the time to put it together. Once you start cooking, it goes pretty quick. So I'm using bucatini pasta. You can use anything. Bucatini is fun. It's kind of like spaghetti with a hole in it. It's like little spaghetti straws. This is probably going to take longer than the whole dishes to put together. So I'm going to throw my bucatini in boiling water. Make sure you salt it pretty heavily, and I'm going to move the camera here in a minute. So that bucatini is going to take 8 to 12 minutes to cook. This is a good time if anybody needs to refill their glass. Not Aubrey, because it's still too early in Hawaii from the last call that we had at 4 o'clock. And she might have to get on a roof again. Okay, so I'm gonna move setup over here. What else are people cooking? Jen cooked tacos. Dave Ward's still there. What's Dave Ward cooking on?
Tonight it's halibut and Hawaiian sweet potatoes and quinoa.
Nice. So your pantry is not empty during this pandemic.
You know me, man. Full pantries all the time.
That is good. All right, so we got the pasta going. So the important thing about this is having a nice hot pan. The way most chefs test their pan is by just putting their hand right in it. If your hand doesn't blister, it's not quite ready. I'm pretty close to high temperature on that. I'm gonna add just a little bit of vegetable oil. If I'm cooking at high temperatures, I prefer vegetable oil because I think the smoking point is a little bit better. It's a little bit higher than what olive oil is. Take my salmon, we'll pick 2 nice pieces. Little fresh ground pepper.
Nice camera work, Dave. I can feel the heat through the Zoom conference.
Is it working right? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a little bit of salt. I'm not going to use a lot of salt because in this dish we've got olives, we got capers, we got some Parmesan cheese that are all going to add some salt to it.
So what am I seeing mostly on your fish there, Dave? Is that mostly salt?
Mostly pepper, mostly fresh ground black pepper and a little bit of salt.
Okay.
So we're just about to smoking point in that oil. You can kind of see the viscosity on that oil change a little bit. And that's really the sound you want to hear. You want it to sizzle as it hits that pan, because we're trying to build up a nice crust, a nice sear on that. And that's going to give us some great flavor and really some nice texture to it. A lot of cooks, when they start to cook, they get impatient. They want to move things around. They want to start flipping it. They want to start poking it. That's why it's important to have a glass of wine. So you can stop, have a sip, and kind of just let that develop. If you've ever put anything in a pan that's not quite hot enough, it tends to stick. If you put it in a pan and its temperature is proper, once it gets to that point, and it's called the Maillard reaction, once it gets to that point, it'll kind of let itself off the pan and release really easy. All right, there's a couple people cooking along. Are you guys keeping up? We're all right?
What are you doing with the roasted bell peppers?
I'm just going to add the roasted red bell peppers to this. So that's a great point. When we talk about a dish like this, I'm using shallots. You could use garlic. You could use white onion. You could use a little bit of red onion. If you don't like capers, leave them out. If you don't have Kalamata olives, use green olives. There's all sorts of different things you can use. Cooking should be kind of like riffing a little bit, where as long as you're following a little bit of a tempo, you can change things however you like it. I'm gonna turn the heat down just a little bit.
Are the peppers diced though?
What's that?
Are the peppers diced?
I did strips of peppers, but you can do diced or however you want to do them.
Yeah.
You can do. I did roasted red peppers. You could do fresh peppers in there if you want, and it adds kind of a textural difference because it kind of gives you a little crunch, a little bit of a snap to it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna flip this salmon over. So we got a good.
What kind of wine are you drinking tonight?
I got a little AB Riesling going here.
I'm gonna gonna turn my fan on so I don't set off my smoke detector again.
You can put your own. He uses vegetable, not avocado.
We probably just need a couple of those.
So for me, salmon with fillets that are about this thick and a little over an inch, about 2 minutes on each side, I think is more than enough.
Sure.
I hate salmon that's over, so it starts to dry out. So I tend to pull it a little bit sooner rather than later.
What do you mean? Oh, I guess.
So I'm going to turn the pan down on the salmon down to low, because this is just about done. So I'm going to take this out of the pan, put it on the back of the stove where it'll stay warm.
All right. Yeah.
And in cooking, you have something called carryover cooking. We put a lot of heat into this, and so it's going to keep cooking even after I've taken it off the heat. So even if it's not quite done, it's going to finish. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of shallots. I don't really want to add color to these. I just want to start to get them a little bit opaque, so they're a little tender.
Shallots are not as strong as onions.
And everything else is going to go pretty quick. I'm going to add my capers to that. I'm going to add my calamatas or whatever kind of olives you like. It's not black olives. Black olives are an abomination. I'm going to add a little bit of roasted red pepper. We've got some salty ingredients. We've got some briny ingredients. We've got some kind of sweet ingredients with this roasted red pepper. Put a little asparagus in the pan back there just to heat it up because I have it.
I think you.
Pasta's about 1 minute away from being done.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw some cherry tomatoes in there. You could use sun-dried tomatoes. But those cherry tomatoes add kind of a little acidity and some nice freshness. We're gonna add a little bit of wine.
Looks like a white wine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add a little pepper. I'm not going to add any salt to this because of the capers and the olives.
He doesn't use much salt at all. He uses a lot of pepper.
I get a lot of questions, you know, why does restaurant food sometimes taste better than food that you do at home? And it depends upon who's cooking at home. But a lot of the reason the food tastes better at restaurants is because somebody else is doing it. And we add cream and butter to everything. So a little bit of cream. The government has officially moved back bathing suit season until I think mid-October. So it's okay to have a little extra cream and butter.
So you put cream and butter in there?
A little cream so far. I'm going to let that cream reduce down by about half.
Cream did you put in, you think?
I put about 4 tablespoons of cream, and I'm going to reduce that down to about 2 tablespoons of cream. So I'm going to turn this back up just a little bit.
Wine.
Yeah, and did you put butter in there too?
I haven't put butter in yet, so I'm going to take that cream and reduce it down by about half. So we put about 4 tablespoons in. Probably put about 4 tablespoons of wine. We're going to reduce all that down to about 4 tablespoons total. So we started with 8 tablespoons of liquid. We're going to reduce that down to about half. And you can kind of see the bubbles starting to get a little bit bigger. That's that cream reducing down. The thing about pasta is you want to cook it about 9/10 of the way in the water. You want to finish it off in the sauce. when starch molecules cook, they open up. So if I finish this in the sauce, it's gonna allow those starch molecules in that pasta to kind of absorb some of that flavor.
All right.
So we're gonna toss that a little bit. Then we're gonna take a couple little bits of butter. And we add the butter because it tastes good and it kind of smooths everything out a little bit.
You're good at this.
Trish asked me earlier if the cast iron pans will scratch up the glass top range that I have. They don't really scratch it up as much as doing this. So I don't think I'll get my deposit back. We're gonna add just a little bit of cheese. That kind of adds a little bit more salt to it, and it helps thicken that sauce up. And I'm gonna move everybody back over here.
Dave, do you ever use a spoon?
Do I ever use a spoon?
Yeah, you just flipping and flipping.
Just when I eat. I try and flip it into my mouth as well, but.
That's okay. I'm getting off the floor now.
Could be one of the reasons flipping food into my mouth is why I might be single right now. Okay. So I'm adding a little asparagus to this just for some color.
Told you we should have cooked some asparagus.
I'm gonna take this pasta.
No, I think we're okay.
Top it with just a little bit more cheese. A little bit of parsley. Add that salmon.
Where do you want to put this on? You want to put it in a bowl like that?
All right, does yours look like that?
Beautiful.
Are you there? All right.
Yeah. Let's give a couple of
My mouth is watering.
Okay, so that's it.
Okay, so I have a question. Mine doesn't look like that.
What does yours look like? Let's see Sarah's.
Our pasta, our water's still boiling. I'm behind. So
So your pasta's still a little bit more al dente?
it's still a little bit more al dente. Yes. Yeah.
It's okay, Sarah. We're behind a little too.
Ours is gonna be so good.
So it went too fast.
No, it's fine. We have
Okay.
everything measured out, so.
So now we should switch over to your cameras and watch you guys finish.
Oh.
That would be great. This is the interactive cooking show.
All right. Here's how the Brookses look.
Oh, let's see.
Huh?
I gotta switch views here.
Let me see. I
Can
want
you
to.
see?
Oh wow.
Nice.
Huh?
Nailed it.
I think it's going to be good. That's fun, and I've never thrown pasta in the pan like that, but I love that idea. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it kind of soaks up all those extra flavors.
Yeah. So you buttered yours when you got done or something?
I threw just a little bit of butter. Once that cream reduced down, I threw just a little bit of butter in there and swirled it around.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps smooth out because you got so many kind of acidic and briny components with the olive and the capers and the tomatoes.
Right.
Kind of helps smooth things out. If you're looking out for bathing suit season, you can leave out all of that and just go with the wine.
That, I'm trying to watch my figure, and actually I'm going to drink an extra glass of wine to make up for the butter I forgot.
Good. Perfect.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dave. I bet you've had a good time hanging out with Donna, huh?
It's been very fun. Yeah, she's
Kick
awesome.
ass.
It's so cool that she lives here local.
I know. I'm really glad you guys got together.
We did, just before the quarantine started, we did a cooking from your house cooking from your house quarantine version for the news channel that she works for.
Oh,
So
great.
that was fun.
I really miss working with her. We used to have a great time together. She's
Yeah,
tough.
she's very cool.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for this. Really been fun.
You're
I'm
very
going
welcome.
to get a glass of wine and go ahead and eat while you guys are finishing up.
Right on. Thank you.
Really fun. Great recipe. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy.
No problems.
Hey, Dave, it's awesome watching you, man.
Hey, Kai, nice kitchen.
Yeah. It's a home version, you know. This is just my regular house, you know. I got everyone watching TV. This is the standard grill that I got in my kitchen, you know.
And for everybody else that's still tuned in, we're trying to put a pot of money together for Petter because it appears that he's been kidnapped and is part of a hostage video in the lower right-hand part of my screen, at least. Hope you're safe.
Now you can kneel.
Hey, everyone. So, Kai, could you give me 1 second on your avocado stuff that you were talking about today to me? So.
Oh, yeah. So back at home, I own a avocado farm, and I'm doing an avocado subscription box so that people can order fresh Sherwood avocados from the Big Island. And what that is, it's the best avocados in the world. It's a mixture between Hass and the Colombian Gold avocados that was made back in 1979 through a professor at UH Hilo. Only up until last year, we're actually allowed to ship those avocados out of Hawaii. So now I'm doing a subscription box so people don't have to go to stores. And then, you know, they shut the borders down. So avocados coming out of Mexico now is even harder to get and a lot more expensive. So I'm just shipping avocados out of Hawaii. If anyone's interested, it's the Happy Hawaii Avocado Company.
Are we really talking avocados here, Kyle? Are we talking something else?
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Colombian Gold came long before '79. That's my only issue.
Dave,
Huh? Yes.
Sylvia has a question.
Yeah, what do you got, Sylvia?
I never thought of mixing white wine with cream. What's the purpose of doing that? They don't sound like a good mix to me.
The cream or the wine adds a little bit of kind of brightness and acidity to it, a little sweetness. It depends on what wine you're using. So I had Sauvignon Blanc. So if you had Chardonnay or something heavier, it would add just kind of a little different note. But it's called deglazing. So anything that kind of sticks to the bottom of the pan, if you add a little wine or a little bit of liquor or a little bit of stock to it, it kind of pulls those flavors off the bottom of the pan and puts them back into the dish. So that's kind of the reason for that. If you added the cream too quick or your cream's cold, sometimes it'll have a tendency to curdle. So you kind of want to reduce the wine down before you add the cream to it. You can use stock instead of wine if you'd prefer.
What kind of cheese did you use, Dave?
I was using Parmesan.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to ask to be sure. Okay, thank you.
But you could use just about anything. If you wanted a little bit of feta on there, you could use just about anything.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, T and Jeff are done.
Oh boy, that's T. Arna cooked.
Looking good, Chris. Looking good.
He did.
Done.
Thank you for giving me the credit, Sylvia. I did nothing. I had no part of it.
Cook it.
So you guys can watch her eat it now.
No.
Jeff did.
Oh, Jeff's a good cook.
He sure is.
Wow.
It's good to see you.
Thanks, Dave.
You are very welcome. Hopefully we get to do this in a couple months together.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Absolutely hope.
Thanks, Dave.
You are very welcome.
Looks good.
My show's over.
Thank you, Dave.
Is your
stay
pasta
tuned.
done?
My pasta is finally done, yeah. Devin's putting the final touches on it. So we're gonna go from there. So Becky, I think you should have your mom say hi to Sylvia. We got 92 and a half and 90.
She's out at the hot tub. Hold on.
Out in the hot.
She's not in the hot tub.
Do you know Becky? Oh, her mom's 92.
Yeah, I heard. You're not
Thanks.
90.
Nice to see you all.
Who are we looking at?
Nice to see you too, Clara.
And oh, they left.
Like the internet's freezing.
Oh,
I think Becky may have gotten out of range.
I think, yeah.
No, she didn't. She's still on.
I know, but her video froze.
Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you made?
I made a little garlic pasta with some onions. And a really nice thing I did, I didn't know if I liked, but I used a mead wine, the honey wine, what gave it a really sweet flavor to go along with the garlic.
There you go.
As Dave said, we used what was in the pantry.
Absolutely. What's in the
I don't know if
pantry?
you got a glimpse of my mom, but the Zoom kind of failed out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love you, Becky.
Love you guys too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
yum, Jeff. That looks delicious.
I gotta try it.
Really good. The pasta's
is
really
good.
good.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna go eat my dinner, and so we have Linda Leary coming up on Friday, and at 4 o'clock Pacific time, and she's with Fishyware. So we're gonna do a ladies' night, and then we have Zach-Dale Time Flies on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting us and being a part of this. We really appreciate it. And you know, if you guys want to come in on the ladies' night, you can come in on the ladies' night. It's not limited.
Love you guys.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you. Love you.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Thanks so much.
What's Aubrey making over there?
Wine looks good, Jeff.
Looks good.
It is.
Mom's been drinking Malbec.
Atta girl.
What are you cooking over there, Aubrey?
No, Natalie and I got these little landlords the other night. They're called Opihi, and you can use them as like oyster shooters. So they're still alive right now.
Ooh.
They're basically like limpets, but they're like a different version of limpets. But
Over salmon, make it like that.
We grilled a bunch of them last night, and then you can just put like lemon on them or sriracha or anything, and like eat them like oyster shooters. It's pretty wild, but it's like fun.
Look at what we have.
Yum.
Let's see that again, Sarah.
I didn't see.
All right.
Nice. Little bow tie pasta. A little farfalle.
Little bow tie pasta. All right, guys. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in.
Love you.
Come on.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you again, Dave, for doing this.
No problem.
It's really tasty.
It was good seeing you guys.
Don't give him the credit. He didn't make it.
No, Jeff made it.